Okay, these are the pumpkins. We're only making one of them, but this is what we're going to be doing, and we're going to be making this pumpkin. But I'm just using a flashlight in the background so you can kind of see if you stick a light into any of them, what they'll look like. Alrighty, I'm getting ready to show you how to do one of these altered. It's an easy, cheap, altered, kind of moldy dollar store pumpkin. It's a foam dollar store pumpkin. This is what it looks like before you mess with it. It's the exact same thing. Literally got it from the Dollar Tree. And what we're going to do is, you can see here I drew a face on there. And you can use an X-Acto knife, or you can use a tiny little small saw that you use to carve out an actual real pumpkin. Let me grab my... Seriously, I thought I got everything I needed. And apparently I did not. Or I didn't, I don't remember where I put it. That happens a lot. So this is what you're going to end up with here. I've actually done quite a few. This one has a lighter colored orange on the inside, painted on the inside, and this one's a darker colored orange. In the end, there's not a huge difference, but when there's no light on the inside, this one does seem a bit brighter. So on the next one, I might actually try yellow. So you can actually carve some things into it. You can see here, there's a little heart there. Here I made some grooves and notches, and I love these things so much that I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do a tutorial. Not that there's not tutorials out there for it. I was actually inspired by Monster Tutorials. He did a rotten pumpkin. So you take your X-Acto knife and just carefully, this makes less of a mess. Once you cut out what you want, you can go in, and these things are hollow, and then it comes right out. Or you can use this little thing meant for pumpkins if you don't have an X-Acto knife. You struggle a little bit more, and I'd have to say it makes, you can see here, it makes more of a mess. So you see that it does work. If that's what you have, go ahead and use it. I actually had to do a lot of vacuuming today because I did 3 pumpkins earlier, and trust me when I say it makes a huge mess. You're going to hear the washing machine in the background, so don't mind that. Gotta have clean clothes. Okay, just want to make sure you can see that, yes, I did draw a face, and I'm just going along the lines. It's pretty easy to go in here with the X-Acto knife. Just, okay. I have noticed that in some of them, there's a little knot on the inside, and I'm pretty sure this is where that knot is. You can still go through it though. I first saw this being done last year, and when I saw the tutorial, I really wanted to do it. Unfortunately, everybody and their mama went out and bought all the pumpkins. I could not find a foam pumpkin to save my life. That, you know, didn't cost $60. When you buy a $60 pumpkin, you don't exactly want to alter it. Apparently I forgot to do parts. Okay. And no, I'm not following it. I mean, I'm I'm using my drawing as a guideline. Okay. There. If I don't follow it exactly, I'm okay. Okay, seriously, this is where the knot is, I can tell. Aw, don't break. Don't do it. Okay, come on out. I gotta admit, it's normally easier than this. I'm assuming because of that knot, it just didn't want to let go. Unfortunately, it's also connected to this eye. Seriously. I'm making myself nervous. Okay, well, I just pushed it in. We're also going to cut a hole. I mean, if you want to draw a circle around the bottom of a little tea light, you go right on ahead. I figure as long as I make it for sure big enough for that. See how easy that came out? That's normally how easy this is. This is obviously going to be a little deformed right here, but you know what? That's okay. Every pumpkin's different. I actually do some cuts here and there. When we melt it, you'll see it's gonna like make an eyebrow or a groove. This is what it's making here. Ooh, man, I'm really having a hard time. This groove right here and these. Okay, I also go along what would be the lower parts of the pumpkin because I want mine to have more grooves. Don't slice all the way through, just a little bit, maybe an eighth of an inch into it. And you're going to see, I'm going to have to clean up my mess first. You can tell I've been playing because I've got wow. Alrighty. Come on. Not sure that there's a good way or an easy way to do this. I'm going to have to turn I don't know if my ceiling fan's going to make a lot of noise to where it affects the video, but I'm seriously about to heat up this pumpkin, and let's take this stem out. It's actually held in there with a, man, I'm really having a hard time, a toothpick. So I'm going to cut the toothpick down to where it's just a tiny little nub, and I'm going to use a bit of glue to get it to stay in place. It's just some Scotch quick dry glue. And then I'm going to get a heating tool, and you're going to see, and sorry for all the noise, but there's no way around it. It's a heating tool. It's going to be blowing, and I'm pretty much going to be getting in here into the eye, and I'm melting it, especially the outside. See, I hope you can see that. It's actually melting this and actually kind of, it's making it harder, I guess. So as you can see, the places where I put the small little slits, it made them a little bit more indented. All right, so now I'm going to hopefully clean up the rest of this because I think more fell out. I can't remember if I did tell you how big this was. If I remember correctly, it is about 6 inches by 4 1/4 to 4 1/2 ish. It's hard to tell with that, but again, it's already looking kind of awesome. It's time to paint the outside black. And yes, I'm going to paint the whole outside black. See? Apparently it wasn't that quick. It'll be alright. Eventually it'll dry. Alright. So I'll be back shortly. Alrighty, so I'm going to get ready to put some orange on the inside of the pumpkin. This is really cheap paint. I mean, nothing grand or anything. And this one is literally just for the inside. But because that last one seemed a bit dark, I'm going to add some white to it and mix it up. Okay, so just going to go on the inside and start painting. Didn't exactly mix it very well, but you know what, that's all right. I have tried doing this the other way around and painted the inside orange and then put my black, and my Actually, part of my black is still kind of wet, I can tell, because it's smearing into the orange. But the other way, my black was flicking all over the place and putting black spots everywhere. So normally I do 3 at a time, so this would have been fully dry before I even got to the orange part of this. But not this time, apparently. So I even get to the parts that you can't get to from that bottom hole. I go through the mouth. Try not to touch the edges, but apparently I'm rushing for camera's sake and I'm touching all kinds of stuff. Ooh, touched all kinds of black there. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's a pumpkin. I mean, seriously, how many perfect... Well, I've never done a perfect real pumpkin. I don't know about anybody else, but pretty good at jacking those up. I mean, you can paint this part orange if you want, but it's really not even going to be seen. Okay. So give me a minute to clean up, and then we'll start the outside. Alright, so I am going to use some Deco Art. I mean, it really doesn't matter. It's a brown, dark chocolate. And we're going to dry brush everything on. So, just... I don't know if you can... Can you see that? Right there. That's really all we're doing, is we're dry brushing everything on. You just want to do it lightly. You don't want to cover up all of the black by any means. You just, with each dry brush color I go a little bit lighter, so I'm not like super light with this, but because I do want it to get a little bit further in than all the other colors that are going to be going on. But then the next color is going to be orange, and that's going to be even lighter than this, like a lighter touch, if that makes sense. You don't want to cover up each of the layers. Hopefully you can see the brown. I mean, it's not supposed to be, you're not supposed to look at it and go, ooh, it's a brown pumpkin, but it's a little hard with all the glare. I unfortunately have to do all of my videos later in the day, so natural light is not an option for me. So lots of lights. See, that was too much paint on there. I didn't get enough of it off, and it looked like a brush stroke. This is like a weird angle for me. I think this is my 8th pumpkin I've done, because I like them so much. Okay, areas where I don't see any brown, I'm going back over. Yes, it does dry darker than what you're putting it on, and that's okay. Okay, we're going to clean the brown off. I'm going to switch. I'm going to switch to, this is Deco Art Bright Orange. Which I'm going to go back and forth on this bright orange. A few times, so hopefully you can see the difference. So I'm going with a lighter touch this time. Man, I hope you guys can see the difference. I'd hate to, maybe one of these days on a weekend I can go outside and do this in the lights, but oh, I shouldn't have done the stand like that, but it doesn't take long to do it. Well, normally I would just do 3 at a time. Oh, man. Apparently part of that wasn't dry. This is what happens when you rush for video's sake. And I've tried to use, it's weird, I've tried to use nice brushes, but they don't work as well. So I have this old, yucky brush that I've had for, I was actually going to throw it away when I realized I could use it for dry brushing, and I've seriously used it for every one of my my pumpkin. And every time I try something else, I come right back to it. So if you got a yucky brush that you think is ready for the trash, now's the time. That's too much, I can tell. Ooh, too much. That's all right. Just keep going. Try to wipe some of it off. Your finger. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. This is actually kind of making my back hurt, leaning over like this. And the orange, I always seem to have to go back over it again. I mean, it is a pumpkin, you do want it to be orange. Ooh. Alright, so now it's time to switch to yellow. Alrighty, so I'm not going to use much of this at all. Tiny little drop should do ya. Okay, so I start actually going around the eyes because in the mouth that would be the area the yellow is pretty much for the highlight. So you're highlighting this part so that it stands out more. You are going to go back over it again with orange, but so over here, seriously, very light. Just barely, like you hardly even want to know it's there. And it's kind of like to just brighten up the orange a little bit, I guess. We are going to go back over it with orange again. Alright, that's it for the yellow. Alright, this time I'm going to, actually, I'll keep that here. Going with a little bit of white. And if I were able to put less white, I would have. So, I'm seriously just, if it's that much, it's too much. So you can see here, as it got lighter. And then you're going to go and brush here and there. And here would actually probably look best if it was in those grooves, because that's where it's cracked and it's gonna be molding, because that's kind of like the look I'm going for, to mold. So still here and there, especially on the top here. Okay. it for that yellow and that white. Going back to orange. What did I... And this should be the last step. And I go back to the orange because that's just, I want it to be, I want to make sure that that white's not like totally in your face. It's supposed to be a hint of the white, and it's molding, and I'm going to cover up some of that yellow again and bring out the orange. Forgot about the stem. Just do it with a little bit of green and call it a day. I mean, it takes almost nothing. This is why I do 3 at a time, so that way when I have that out there, it's okay. Man. See? To wipe off some of that orange. Alrighty, so now we've got this guy. And with the flashlight, so you got that one, this one, and this one. So these are very similar. I went for the same type of face. And you can see here, even with that there, still an A-OK pumpkin. Thanks for watching.